beauty and color isn't skin deep. There's a lot of, white people right now still don't like black people. I live right here in this place here, and nobody's really friendly. You know what I mean? They'll speak maybe sometime, and sometimes they don't. But if they speak, I speak, especially the foreigners. I think it's mostly Polacks living around in these neighborhoods. But I don't owe them nothing, and they don't owe me nothing. I feel that everybody gonna have to make it with their Savior. God has us all in His hand. He's the boss. God take all of us when He wants to. And that's something we can't get around. There's nobody that really can say, I'm not ready to go. When God gets ready for you, you go in. He takes you. You have no say over how long you're gonna live, how you're gonna die. God just come along and knock the breath, take the breath right out of you. And when He come and take you, you have to go. I'm a great believer. My God know and see all that you do. You don't have to go to Him with excuses. You didn't want to do this, that, or other. He knows already. He has your record from the day you come in this world. And when God gets ready for you, He take you out of this world. That's how I feel about life. I was married. My husband, when he came from the service overseas, the war was just about over. And we got married at his home in Mississippi. His grandmother there. I went to visit them while he was overseas. I had went to see him in Charleston, and they were on whatever they call it, that no soldiers could come out. And the people I stayed with, the next day I got a plane back to Bridgeport. And when he came, when we met him, my sister and I had my baby sister and I was visiting my sister down in Georgia, and she had fixed us a lunch, fried chicken, cake, and all that stuff. And the old-fashioned cars, but I can't get over how if you came north and past Atlanta, Georgia, you were in one caboose. People had chickens on the train and everything, and sometimes you didn't hardly have a seat. You would pile up on people's laps and things like that. And but when we got to Atlanta, we got a different train and came into New York to 34th Street, the station there. Then we get a local train coming this way. And when we came, my aunt had 2 children. She came south. My mother was sick. That was my father's sister. And she died in childbirth, my mother. She lost the baby too. I noticed when we got on the train, after they got everything straight and left my mother's mother in the house we owned. We owned a nice house in the south. The train slowed up. I was 10 or 12, but anyway, the white people, we had my father underneath the seats of the train, the caboose. There was only one. You only had one car, and in Atlanta, if you were going north, you had a regular passenger car with seats that turned back and forth. And my father was under our feet. And we had clothes, bags of clothes and towels, you know. And there was a couple of places stopped before we got to Atlanta. White men got on looking for my father. They didn't want him to leave the South.
Why?
He was taught to operate an electric plant that gave people electric and stuff like that, called a power plant. And the power plant didn't stay open. It closed at 12 o'clock and opened like after 8 that next morning. They closed it down, and my father worked there. But as I was little, I can remember there was a white man that taught my father how to run the electric plant that gave people electric, you know, all over that town, and maybe 2 or 3 other little towns close by got electric from where we live. And I can remember when while he was doing that, my mother had passed.
So your father had to sneak out of town?
Huh?
Your father had to sneak out of town?
Yeah, he had to sneak out of town. And we had to go to town to the post office to get our mail. So my baby sister, she's dead now. We had a box 36 that was mail in our mailbox. And my sister said to this here man that run the post office that stayed there, he was sitting in his rocking chair, rocking and reading the paper. We had to call for our mail, and he would have to get up and take it out the box and hand it through this little place where they had the little bars. And my sister, he kept sitting there. My sister said, "Get up and give him mail out of box 86, 36." And so she said, "You're not going to get up." But she was about 5 years old. She said, "Get up off your behind and give me that mail in the box."